Another massive performance for Jamal Murray. This is the Hoops Nerd postgame show. Guys, before we get started, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about Nuggets Jazz. All right, what else can be said at this point about Jamal Murray other than that he's been incredible? Jamal Murray has just decimated the Jazz the last few games. Really this whole series. He has been, the two games the Jazz were able to slow him down, they won big time. It really tells you who is really probably the most important player on this Nuggets team. You know what you're getting with Jokic, with the offensive efficiency, his passing, all these different things. But Jamal Murray has really proven that when he is playing at a high level, they can beat the Jazz every single time. You know, it takes a massive performance from Donovan Mitchell and some incredible shooting from others for the Jazz to find a way to win against this type of performance. But you've got to give all the credit I can't speak. He's left me speechless. But Jamal Murray has absolutely wrecked the Jazz. He is just, whatever Quinn Snyder's doing, his same game plan he seems to run every single time at this point, he has just wrecked it. They've figured it out, and they are killing Utah. Killing them. Utah is just not finding ways to stop him. And a lot of that, you just got to give credit to Murray. This guy, tip of the cap, has been unreal. I mean, just tonight, Jamal Murray, 50 points, 70% from the field, 9 for 12 from the three-point line. 9 for 12 from the three-point line. Absolutely remarkable shooting. I don't think I've ever seen a player play this hot, this good. He is exposing the Jazz and Quinn Snyder, to be quite honest. He is absolutely shredding them. And there's nothing that the Jazz can do at this point, it seems like. At least with their current scheme and their current lineups, it's just nuts. Murray is just, whatever it is, pull up three. I mean, he's taking threes in transition, and I'm just like, if he ever misses a shot, I'm actually like shocked. Like those 3 shots he missed from 3, it's actually shocking that he didn't make them, because he's been out of this world. He's been just unbelievable offensively. You know, you've got to give him credit. Nikola Jokic hit some threes tonight. Again, 60% from 3 for Nikola Jokic tonight. 3 for 5. Unbelievable shooting from Jokic. Credit to this team. They have figured it out. And then you've got Jeremy Grant, who had a nice night. 6 for 9 from the field, but 4 for 7 from 3. And that was good night for Utah, because Utah just did not have the firepower to keep up. They definitely did not have the defense, that's for sure. Monte Morris, 4 for 6 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3. He wasn't taking any. 1 for 2 from Millsap from 3. 1 for 3 from the field. I don't know what Utah's thinking and why they're not just like, if someone's shooting 9 for 12 from 3, I would let Paul Millsap take 2-point shots. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but that seems like pretty good math. I'm not a math wizard, but when someone's shooting 75%, 70% from 3 on 12 attempts, maybe we'll just like try something else. But anyways, you've got to give credit to Jamal Murray. He's just playing out of this world. He has found a level of comfort against this Jazz defense that is just unbelievable. Not much else to say. Gary Harris came back and played really good defense against the Jazz bench units. That's just atrocious. Jazz bench is just putrid, awful, stinky, moist. It's the worst word in the English language is moist. Isn't that just a terrible word? And that's what you would use to describe Utah's bench. Utah tonight, Donovan Mitchell was amazing. He was the bright light in this game. Donovan Mitchell was 56% from the field. He scored 44 points. Donovan Mitchell was 9 for 13 from 3. This duel between Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell is amazing. Amazing. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he won't get the accolades today. He was pissed in that post-game interview, by the way. He was not happy. But Mitchell was just out of his mind. 7 for 7 from the free throw line again. This guy is playing out of this world. Out of this world. And it wasn't enough because no one else on the Jazz decided to show up tonight. Joe Ingles, 5 points. Royce O'Neal, 5 points. Mike Conley, you look at his stats and it was pretty decent, but he made some really bad turnovers. Those 2 turnovers led to points for the Nuggets. You need a little bit more from Mike Conley, honestly. Jordan Clarkson, it was a bad Jordan Clarkson night. Jordan Clarkson, 5 for 14 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, a minus 24. Jordan Clarkson just It wasn't his night tonight, and you needed Jordan Clarkson to win this game, and the Jazz just didn't get it. If Jordan Clarkson has a better game, the Jazz win. And that's what happens. Sometimes you'll just take that. Jordan Clarkson on, like last game, gave you incredible production, and that's why it was close. Jordan Clarkson kept that game close. Tonight, not so much. 5 for 14, and it's hard to overcome that because we know that Clarkson is not this great defender. Quinn Snyder is getting outcoached. Sorry, guys. I know a lot of you make comments about it when I talk about it, but we've done nothing to adjust. These last 2-3 games, nothing. Like nothing. And really, the only adjustments in this series have been forced because Conley went home and we started Jawan Morgan. By the way, the Jazz are 3-1 when Jawan Morgan plays more than 10 minutes. So maybe Jawan Morgan can play more than 1 minute. And when Quinn puts Jawan Morgan in with the bench and then pulls him because his defensive scheme leaves Jawan Morgan isolated on him on the perimeter, and you pull him because your defensive scheme is not working, that's crap. That's bad coaching. That's just bad. And you pulled him because he didn't stop a Jamal Murray transition play because you had George Niang in the game get just destroyed on an inside basket, and you pulled Jawan Morgan and put Tony Bradley back in. Quinn's answer for the bench was to pull Bradley was putrid awful tonight. Just terrible. And he's been that bad all series. He was so bad tonight that Quinn pulled him, put in Jawan Morgan, and then when things go terrible anyways because our defensive scheme is just garbage, he pulls him and puts Bradley back in? That's what Quinn's fix was? No, that's bad. That is very bad. I spell that B-A-D, bad. All caps, bad. Really bad. We haven't adjusted at all. Joe Ingles tonight is just not playing well. I don't know if he does. He played well when Donovan started, and when Mike Conley came back, Joe Ingles fell off a cliff. And I don't know why, but Joe Ingles just cannot seem to play with Mike Conley. He just can't. And Quinn needs to adjust. Quinn needs to pay attention to that. So what can you do, Mr. Blogger James, who has a YouTube channel? If you're so smart, what would you do? Well, guess what? Jawan Morgan plays really good defense. And what has the Jazz really struggled to do this series? Stop the Denver Nuggets from putting a basketball into the ring, into the hoop. That's the thing the Jazz have struggled with. Even tonight, Utah scored at an efficient clip. I mean, our three-point percentage was 50%. From the field, the Jazz shot 45. Rudy had an awful game tonight, by the way. That's the other player we got to talk about. Rudy Gobert was just putrid again. Rudy had 8 field goal attempts. He made 3 of them. He couldn't grab a ball in the air. Like, he couldn't grab the ball in the air. No, it's hard to watch. But these last 2 games, Rudy has been awful, awful, awful. It's hard to describe how low an impact he's having. Now, you could say he's done a pretty good job on Jokic, and maybe that's why Rudy's a little bit of an unsung hero in this series, so I give him a tiny bit of the benefit of the doubt because Jokic did not have a massive game from the field. He did hit 3 for 5 from 3 because he can't go in against Rudy, and Rudy showed that. Rudy really kept Jokic in check. It's that our coach has not done anything to stop Jamal Murray. Nothing. Like, you tell me, what's he done? We haven't changed the starting lineup except for when Mike Conley came back. But the thing I was talking about more, what would I do? Well, we're going to have to put Joe Ingles on the bench. If he can't produce when he's with the starting unit, why is he starting? Because he's been cooked this series on defense. Absolutely cooked. And you know who hasn't? Jawan Morgan. He's actually played really well. If you have Jawan Morgan and Rudy Gobert, 2 of our best defensive players on the floor at the same time, you're going to get more stops. You're going to get stops. Plain and simple. And then guess what? We never play Tony Bradley ever again. Okay? Can someone tell Quinn this, not to play him again? Who's got a phone line with Quinn? Someone call Gail? Can someone get someone on the line here? I need to talk to customer service. Jazz customer service? I'd like to speak to Quinn Snyder and one of their coaches. Please, I will hold. Yes, I'm fine waiting 45 minutes. I am fine. Let me talk to him, though, because you can't play Bradley ever again. If you start Morgan with Gobert, guess what you can do? You can have Morgan switch over to the center spot when Rudy rests. And then you don't play Niang. And you don't play Tony Bradley. You play Clarkson and Ingles off the bench, and you play 7 guys, and that's it. Guess what? We're in the playoffs. We have to win this game. This next game, it's it. We lost this one. The Jazz could have won this if they'd have tried something. They could have tried some schemes this game. They could have tried anything. A trap, late trap, box +1. Who knows? Anything. You could do trap him half court. You can trap him when they start that Murray Jokic PNR. It's anything. You can do prevent defense. Don't let him get the ball. Keep the ball out of his hands. That's what people do with Dame. And guess what? It worked out pretty well with the Lakers. Worked out okay. All right? It works sometimes. You know, if the thing you're doing is not working and you just keep banging your head against the wall, that's insanity. We all know the quote. You know? Try something else. But now, because we haven't tried anything, they're going to try something next game, and it's in desperation. Desperation. Instead of like learning what doesn't and what does work, and maybe even getting a win along the way because you tried something else, guess what? Can't go much worse. Can't go much worse. 9 for 12 from 3? Can't go much worse. Jamal Murray, 9 for 12. I'm sorry. I'm okay with Jeremy Grant taking a few threes. I'm okay with Paul Millsap getting an open mid-ranger or an open 3. Guess what? I'll live with that. When Jamal Murray's shooting 9 for 12 from 3, something's not working. It's just not. And to not change is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's just stupid. It's really dumb. I don't get it. And, you know, it's easy for me to say, but guess what? We've been asking for this all series. And nothing. So this loss is as much on Quinn as anyone. Yes, could other players play well? Sure. They could miraculously just hit all the shots in a scheme that the Nuggets have figured out. Because guess what? They've figured out the Jazz offense pretty well too. Guess who torched them for 2 games in a row? Rudy Gobert. Guess what they did? They adjusted. Rudy's not been the same. We haven't. Change the lineup. Change the scheme. Do something. Something. This is the playoffs. It's the playoffs. You have to adjust. That's how you win series. You make adjustments. It's chess. We're not in here for, season-long statistics anymore. We're here to win games. Win games. I don't know. Guys, that's all I got to say. Like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you hit those notifications. Let me know in the comments what you think. I will talk to you later.